Hi there, Stan the Annuity Man. I think we're 1 minute early, which is typical for us. I mean, my dad sent me to a military school, which didn't turn out real well. We stayed there for a year, and I finished second in demerits for the whole school. And I was mad because my roommate finished first. That's a whole nother story. So glad you joined us on Saturday. If you're watching this as a replay, shame on you. You should have been here live. So here's the way it works. If you haven't been on one of these, it is a free-for-all. I mean, you are literally open to asking me any questions. Be prepared for brutally factual answers. I will tell you this, please do not ask me tax questions. I know I look like a CPA and a tax lawyer. I know most CPAs and tax lawyers wear their own baseball caps with their brand on it, but please don't ask tax questions. I mean, I just can't legally give tax advice, and you don't want anyone that's not qualified to give tax advice to give tax advice. So the other thing that we typically do when we start these things out is we go through my website and I show you all the really nice, neat things and all that stuff. We're not going to do that because just go to theannuityman.com. It's very intuitive and very easy to navigate. You can run your own quotes with our proprietary calculators. You can schedule a call with moi or someone on my team, but typically, well, you got a good shot at getting me. And you can also get my books. Just spoiler alert, I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be shipping hard copy books. So if you want hard copy books, I would encourage you to go to my site, sign up for it. We're not going to charge you for that, or no one's going to call you, show up at your doorstep, etc. So, we're the leader out here, not only in the distribution of annuities, we represent pretty much every single carrier. We're licensed in all 50 states. We can take care of everything from start to finish, from the application process, whether it's IRA money, non-IRA money, Roth IRA money, etc. We can handle it. I've got the best team in the business. If you're a client, you're nodding your head right now, and just trust me, it's first-class concierge service from start to finish. Now, how this works is as soon as questions stop, we quit. And it can go forever. It can go for an hour. It can go for an hour and a half. It could go for 30 minutes. So, don't be shy. What I do is once you put the questions in, then I'll read them out and I'll answer them, and we'll just keep going on and on and on. As a commentary, because all, celebrity guests or celebrity hosts like me, I'm not a guest, I comment on things. Boy, there's a lot happening with inflation, Putin, China, gas prices, markets, crypto, the elections. There's a lot. Now, I do a lot of commentary, as you know. We do these live events once a month. Currently, that's the schedule. I think that's going to continue, but who knows when the consultants get involved. They might go, hey, Stan, we want to lessen the frequency or whatever. But right now, it's every month. But I do YouTube videos. I got a great YouTube channel, Stan the Annuity Man YouTube channel. I do podcasts, which we have now taken down from every single week to twice a month, just because I'm busy and I'm old and I can't do all that. So we're doing it twice a month. Fun with Annuities. Also, we have a YouTube channel. You can find that on all the major podcast platforms. And I have some of the best celebrity guests on you could ever imagine. In fact, the last one that's coming out, I think next week or the following week, is with a guy named Branislav Nikolic, which is with Canex. He's a quant math guy and explains it from that side. Annuities are math. I also do a Q&A Friday where I answer a question. You can submit those, and we do that on Friday. And then my favorite one that I do, except for this one, this is my favorite, but my second favorite is Shooting It Straight with Stan, where I just take a topic and just rant. And it's a topic that I think you need to hear about. So with that being said, remember the rules. Ask the questions. As soon as they stop, my producer and director of operations, Miss Leah, will step in and say, we're done. And then we go have our weekend with you. So let's start with the questions. Let's jump in. Woods Parker, by the way, great name. You should be a golfer. Just letting you know. With a SPIA, single premium immediate annuity, my understanding is the interest rate in the payout formula takes into account that inflation will settle and rates will come down. Incorrect. For this reason, in your opinion, that's what IYO is. How about that for me knowing that? Is a Miga now the attractive choice? That question is unanswerable unless a sociopath's on the other end of the question. First of all, multi-year guarantee annuities, if you got my email this morning for the newsletter, right now, at the time of this taping, check the date. So if you're watching it down the road, it doesn't sound crazy. You can lock in contractually over 5% annual yield. 5, which is insane. That's fantastic. What I'm telling people right now is when you need income, we're going to look to see if we can solve it with Migas, meaning that Migas are the annuity industry version of a CD, multi-year guarantee annuity. Let's just for now call it the CD version in the annuity world. You put money with the annuity carrier, they guarantee an annual interest rate. You can, with a lot of these companies, you can take out the interest every single month. So what that portends and allows us to do is look at the possibility of you taking your money, lump sum, and just living off the interest, never touching the principal. So $100,000 will kick out 5,000 or 5. There's one out right now that's 5.15 in a lot of states. And by the way, you have to go to my site at theannuityman.com and then just pull up your state and pull up the duration to see what's out there. Most states are offering these 5%. You know, some of the blue states are not. I'm not political. It's just reality. But to answer your question, interest rates play a secondary pricing role with immediate annuities. Life expectancy at the time you take the payment is the primary pricing mechanism. And if it's joint with a spouse, it's life expectancies at the time you take the payment. And the annuity company is going to look at the younger of the two from a pricing standpoint. So your question is a little bit off base, but I like the thought. Interest rates don't take into account that inflation will settle and rates will come down. No, I mean, as I've said before many times, I think it's important to point it out one more time, is that annuities do not focus and fixate on Chairman Powell and the Fed. It's part of the pricing model. It's probably 20% because they're life insurance companies that issue annuities. They have life insurance products. They have lifetime income products. They have a legacy bond portfolio. They look at the Fed, and then the biggest one that prices it is capacity, meaning that if they're bringing in enough money, they're going to lower the guarantees in order to not attract you. And I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. You're telling me, Stan, the annuity man, America's annuity agent, that the annuity companies just won't take in as much money as we want to give them? The answer is that is absolutely correct. So that's the reason that I represent pretty much every carrier out there, because these are commodity products, and some companies want to attract money and some companies don't. And we don't care. We don't have any skin in the game with any of them. We're just trying to find you the best contractual guarantee. And quotes are like a gallon of milk. They change every 7 to 10 days. So, with all of these questions, I would encourage you, if you want to dig deeper and have a 30-minute conversation, then schedule a call with me and we'll talk uninterrupted. I'll answer all the questions. But in this case, you're reading a lot more into the single premium immediate annuity product that actually happens. So I think that's the best answer I could give. But is Miga an alternative choice to SPIAs? We're at an interest rate level right now that we're certainly going to look at that. Let me finish that one more point, Woods, is that if you come to me and you say, okay, we need me and the spouse need a lifetime income of X. If we can get to that X number just using a Miga and peeling off the interest and never touching the principal, we're going to do that. So then the question will come back and say, well, what if rates go down? Well, then we might be forced to do an immediate annuity. That's where we are right now. Next question. This is from Paul. Miga for 3 years, then purchase a SPIA. That's my Miga to SPIA video. If you go to my YouTube channel, I've done a video called Miga to SPIA that's sweeping the country and gone viral because it strips out all fees and gives you full control over the asset for future income, for income in the future. Does the higher SPIA payout from being older make up for lost money payouts if we had a SPIA during those 3 years? I don't know that. That's a good question, Paul. I don't think you look at it from that standpoint. I think you look at it from, hey, Stan, we really don't need the income these first 3 years, but we want to make money and want to protect the principal. But we know in 3 years that income needs to start. That's where Miga to SPIA, fits in perfectly. I always ask people 2 questions. What do you want the money to contractually do? And when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? If you said, Stan, we really need income now, then we're going to look at immediate annuities. And also, just like I said in the last question, we're going to look at multi-year guarantee annuities to see if you can peel off the interest and never touch the principal. But, this is somewhat of a time value of money calculation, because you could play this 2 ways. You could say, I'm going to buy a 3-year Miga and take the interest out during those 3 years and then take that original principal and then transfer it non-taxable event to the highest paying SPIA. Or you could say, I don't really need income in these first 3 years, as in this example, and I'm just going to let that interest compound because that's what it does. in any type of account, IRA, Roth IRA, non-IRA. It compounds tax deferred. And then I'm going to take that total and then transfer it non-taxable event to the highest contractual guaranteed immediate annuity, which we shop for at that time. So I hope that answers your question, Paul. It really comes down to what you specifically want to do, which leads to a better answer, which is annuities are customizable. We have a conversation, whether it's with me or my team. We're going to ask, hey, what do you want that money to do? What's the goal? And we're going to align you with the contractual guaranteed products that will provide the highest number for that goal. Okay. So next question. Describe the latest nationwide offer, 5% plus. I typically don't talk about specific carriers, but in this case, we will take an exception because it is the highest at the time of this taping contractual guaranteed yield available. Depending on the state that you're in, and I'm going to encourage you to go to my site, theannuityman.com, pull up See Live Rates, put in your state, put in the duration. But currently in most states, there's a 7-year that is guaranteeing 5.15%. In some states, the 5 years at 5%. But with this specific offering, it allows you to take out 10% penalty free if you want to. You don't have to. What I would tell you is if you need the income, don't take the 10% because then you're eating into the principal. Just peel off the 5.15% interest. And then at the end of that 7-year duration, you have all of your money intact and you've taken out the interest. And we can either do it again or we can transfer it back to where the money came from. I had a good call to recently. I think it was yesterday. Days are kind of going together because we're so busy. And they said, well, we're transferring it from Fidelity, Vanguard, TD, wherever, and we want the 7-year 5.15. At the end of the duration, can it be transferred back to Fidelity, the IRA? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Fidelity would just initiate that transfer back and pull it back, non-taxable event transfer. So, but the nationwide product is it's a Miga. It's an index annuity. There's no cap, spreads, bonuses, any of that nonsense. This is a guaranteed interest rate for a specific period of time. Currently, in a lot of states, you can get over 5% or more on the 5-year and the 7-year. How long that's going to last, I don't know. People ask me all the time, where are interest rates going to go? If I knew that, we wouldn't be on this call. I would be in my Learjet flying around and waving at people. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And going back to the capacity issues of life insurance companies, meaning they might not, this next raise that's allegedly, supposedly predicted to happen, it might not affect things. It might affect things. So, that's the reason that, we represent all carriers. There's going to be a few carriers that pop out and raise their guarantees in order to attract premium. And there's going to be some that don't. It's not linear. So, if you say, well, Chairman Powell raised the rates, why aren't annuity? All annuity companies, because it's not linear. They're looking at it. And remember, if you look at a pricing stool with 5 legs, it's one of those legs. It's not one leg. Whereas a bank is just staring straight at Chairman Powell and interest rates. Life insurance companies who issue annuities, they're glancing, they're looking, it's competitive, and they're trying to fill up tranches, whether it's a tranche for a Miga duration or a tranche for a lifetime income guarantee for your specific age and life expectancy they're trying to fill up. So it's a little bit different in the annuity industry, and you just need to know that. But that's the reason that we represent pretty much every carrier out there. And I always say annuities are commodity products, and people say, well, are they going to raise rates? I don't know. Some might, some might not. It just depends on how they want to, or if they want to attract money and how much money. And we don't know that. Maybe the number, if XYZ company puts out, hey, we're going to put out a let's just say in 5.15 or 5%, they might have in their head, they need to raise $1 billion or $5 billion or $2 billion. They don't tell us that. But once they hit it, then they're going to lower the guarantee in order to not attract that money. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Next question. In general, is it preferable to take somewhat higher SPIA payout from an A+ rated carrier or accept a lower payout from an A++ carrier? In other words, should I prioritize payout or safety? That's a good question. At the time of this taping, in the current environment that we're in with so many moving parts and so many what ifs that are going to take place, I am telling all of my clients, that right now, if you're doing lifetime income, that means we're marrying, marrying, hard for Southerners to say. We're marrying the product, okay? We're not dating them. You're going to be with them forever, for life. So it has to be A+ or better. Now, if it's A+ and then an A++ finishes below them, I'm going to tell you to go with A+, because in my opinion, they can. I'm going to say they can back it up, and if they can't, I'll tell you. But it really comes down to what you feel comfortable with. If an A++ carrier is just a little bit below them, then choose them if it makes you feel better. But if we're A+ or better on the quote, then choose the highest contractual guarantee and go to bed at night and never wake up worrying about it. So right now, at the time of this taping, A+ or better, whether it's SPIAs, DIAs, QLACs, or income riders, that's what I'm recommending just because of the environment that we're in. That's a little bit, as they say, volatile and unpredictable. Next question. Sam the man. That didn't work, Sam. I'm kidding. How often do MIGAs compound? Annually, monthly, quarterly, or do they all vary? I'm going to let my director of operations weigh in after I say this, because she has a good feel on this as well. MIGAs do compound. Typically, it's daily, but the amount of the yield to maturity that you see on the annuityman.com site is a reflection of annual. Do you want to add something to that, Miss Leah?
Nope, that's correct. Most compound and credit interest daily. Some credit interest daily, but compound monthly. But when it comes down to it, the annual yield shown on our site, that's the number that's compounding, if you want to do the math.
Yeah, there was a recent offering, and I mentioned the company because they're a nice company, but they had a 5% number, but it was simple interest. And, I really wish that these carriers would not do that and all do compounding interest, because it's a little bit misleading if it's simple. Not to say it's bad. It's just, I just rather it all be compounding. And that's the reason, compounds daily. That is the reason that you can take out interest with a lot of these companies on a monthly basis. Some don't allow you that kind of liquidity. Some do. We show that on our site at theannuityman.com, but it is daily, and you can treat it in a lot of these companies, especially the ones that are now out with the 5%. Most of them are allowing you to take out interest month one. So that's a good thing. Next question.
That is it for questions.
That's it. What's the time? 18:38. I don't know. I could wax eloquent for 5 minutes, or we could go, whoa, how's that? I'm telling you right now, next time I'm out, it's all good. Does it ever make sense to surrender an existing MIGA at 1.9%, pay the surrender, and get this new 5% rate? Ugh. That is a very hard question. I always say annuities are math. You have to run the math numbers. You have to run the taxation numbers, if it makes sense. Most of the time, this doesn't work. Most. I'm not saying it's not going to work for you. You can certainly schedule a call. We can run the math numbers. Leah, what's your take on that? I know it makes your stomach hurt because you're head of compliance. And what is your thought on that?
Well, here's the thing. The insurance company would have to accept the 1035 or transfer.
Exactly. Right.
And if there's more than 3, I'm 99.9% sure they're going to say no. If it's under 3, there's a possibility, but most MIGAs start out at, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So you're not even down to the 3%.
Yeah.
So
what she's saying on the 98765 is first year surrender charge is 9% of the total. Second year is 8% of the total. It's predatory, those surrender charges. So a lot of times it just doesn't work out. But I think what she said makes and you need to listen to it. Annuity companies don't like taking that business in because it's very close to flipping things and churning things, and they call it in the business twisting. We certainly don't like that. We'll run the math for you, and if you say yes, give it a try to lock it in with this company, we will give it a try under the you understanding that it might not go through. We're not going to guarantee that it's going to go through. We're not going to guarantee that the receiving annuity company will accept it, which I know you're saying to yourself, that doesn't make any sense, Dan. It's just the way the annuity industry is. And you should be happy about that, because what the annuity industry is doing is protecting the consumer from agents that would flip your account to transfer it, which leads me to another thing I want to talk about that just, it hit me when she or he asked that. If you have any agent approach you during these volatile times where markets are down and say that their upfront bonus on this index annuity will make up for your losses, I need you to run for the hills. I need you to not believe that. That is garbage. That's a horrific sales practice. Most of these upfront bonus, vast majority of them are attached to the income benefit. You can only use them for the income, or if they're not, they're vested. In other words, that sales practice should be disallowed and illegal, but it's common right now. And it's every time markets are volatile and people are getting hurt in the markets and it's going down, these sales pitches at the Bad Chicken Dinner seminar or online will pop up, and the person will say, well, you're down 20%. This annuity has a 20% bonus. You just can't be that dumb. You can't be that gullible. You can't be the sucker at the table. It doesn't work like that. There are no philanthropists at annuity companies giving free money away. There's 100 pennies in the dollar. And just remember, I know I cliched you to death, but I'm going to cliche you one more time. If it sounds too good to be true, it is every single time, without exception, with annuities. We are in an environment that is ripe with these types of sales pitches of upfront bonuses. And I got a call the other day from a nice lady that says, yeah, I was down and I'm so happy I bought this annuity with the upfront bonus because it made up for it. No, it didn't. It did not. And shame on that agent for using that sales pitch. I always call upfront bonuses candy for the stupid. If you believe that that's free money, then you're the sucker at the table, as they say in Las Vegas, which is where I'm filming this today in our main office in Las Vegas, Nevada. So yeah, that's my soapbox. I'll get off my soapbox, but it drives me crazy when I hear that. And I'm hoping that people on this call won't fall for that sales pitch. So next question. I'm assuming look at this. They're coming in because they know I'm going to leave if they don't. Do the annuity companies, hold a free look against you? No, they do not. Annuity, good question, Max. I've never had that question. That's a good question. First of all, let's talk about a free look. Free look is one of the best things I've ever heard of in the financial industry. And you got to remember, I work on this Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, Payne Weber, UBS. I was on the street, worked in World Trade II Center in New York before it fell. I've done all of that in a previous life. And when it came to the annuity industry, I thought that the free look time period was one of the best things that you have. And what it is every state has what's called a free look time period, meaning you can get your money back. You don't have to give any type of reason. Just, during that time period, let's just say it's 10 days or 20 days, you call the carrier, you call us, say, I don't want to do it. I want to free look the policy. They don't hold anything against you. In fact, that's a positive. This is the only industry. I know annuities get a bad rap from stupid people that don't know. They don't, I hate all annuities. That's just stupid. Okay. I hate all restaurants. How about that? I hate all trucks, or I hate all shoes. But, one of the things that I think is fantastic is this free look time period, meaning that you're going to have a policy in your hand when it's delivered to you. It's in force. The guarantees are in force, and you have the opportunity to get your money back without question, meaning that you can test drive the annuity car and hand it back in if you want to. I applaud the annuity industry for never coming off that and that being law in states. And I think that is fantastic, but they do not, there's not some database of, hey, this guy free look 3 policy. So we're not going to, no, they're not going to do that. They respect the annuity industry is trying to clean things up. I mean, and obviously I'm the leader out here and leading the way of trying to clean things up and have people make decisions on contractual guarantees and not all this crap sales pitch stuff that's out there. But the annuity industry really wants this to be pro-consumer. They're smart. It's a demographic tidal wave of 10 to 11,000 people turning 65 every single day looking for contractual guarantees, and annuities are the only product type that can provide lifetime income. and also has some great guarantees as well. So good question, but free look time period is something that is, for instance, if you got pressured into buying something, the person just kept calling you, showing up, blah, 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 and made you sign, you can get out of it without talking to them. Free look, the great part about the free look is if an agent sold you something and they were so high pressure, they drove you crazy, to free look the policy, you don't have to talk to them. You can just call the annuity company that you bought it from and say, under the free look provision, please refund my money. What do I have to do? Typically, you sign one piece of paper and it's done. Great question, though. Man, that's a good question. Next question. I'm 65, have a pension of about $3,000 monthly. Good. And by the way, if you have a pension, you're in rarefied air. Less than 9% of private companies offer pensions, and the only pensions pretty much out there now are government workers, good labor unions, that type of thing. I'm not taking my Social Security till 66 and 6 months. I guess the question is that a good idea? Or is this the follow-up question to that?
Yes, it was a two-part question.
Okay. So they have a plan in place. They got 3,000 coming in. My first question to you is, what is your income floor? What is that amount of money you want to hit every single month? If it's 3,000, fine. And then you have Social Security, which is the best inflation annuity on the planet, coming in. That's going to add to your guaranteed lifetime income floor. But then this question is a loaded question. Okay, got to be careful who you ask that to, because they'll sell you something. We have mutual funds. What's a good annuity for us? So I flipped the question back on you. What do you want the money to do contractually? And when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? So Belinda, if the answer is, well, we really don't need more income because we already have a pension, the Social Security is going to kick in, we just want to protect the principal, then that's a Miga. That's a multi-year guarantee annuity because we can buy them in short durations. Index annuities also fit under that category. But right now, there's no reason to buy index annuities for accumulation value when you have Migas at 5%. But if Belinda came back and said, no, you know what, we really kind of need income, more income, then my second question is, when do you need that more income to start? Because that's going to determine what type of annuity strategy that we're going to quote for you. For instance, if Belinda came back and said, we really need income to start right now, then that's a single premium immediate annuity. Anything other than that someone's trying to sell you is a square peg into a round hole. Or if she said, well, we really need it to start in 3 years, then we're going to quote deferred income annuities and income riders. So those are two ways to do what I call income later. It reminded me of a call this week. I had a person call me and they said, I need you to do a comparison quote with one of your competitors. I'm not going to mention them because I'm sure they're nice people and I'm sure their wife makes a really nice peach cobbler. So I said, sure, no problem. I said, what do you want the money to contractually do? When do you want those contractual guarantees to start? And they said, well, we need immediate income. I said, great. So I ran the quote and I said, here's the quote. Here's the best single premium immediate annuity quote based upon the parameters. He wanted it joint life with a cash refund, meaning that, it's going to pay as long as one of the two of them are breathing. And when the second one dies, 100% of the money goes to the beneficiaries, and the evil annuity company doesn't keep a penny. But here's what I was up against. And of course I won because of this. The competitor was trying to sell them an indexed annuity with income starting immediately. That's insanity. That's sociopathic. And the only reason that person was doing that is for the commission, because an immediate annuity is very, very simple. You can explain it to a 9-year-old. No offense to 9-year-olds. The simpler the product, the lower the commission. All commissions are built in. But instead of the commission on immediate annuity being 1 to 2%, this person was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and sell an 8 to 9% indexed annuity with income rider with income starting immediately. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be reprimanded for that. Their license should be in jeopardy for that. There's a reason that every single time with most agents, when you ask them about an annuity they're trying to sell you one type, is because the commissions. We have nothing against index annuities. We probably sell more than anyone. We just use them as a delivery system for income riders. For instance, if you needed income in the future, let's just say Belinda said, we need income in 5 years. We're going to quote income riders attached to index annuities. We could care less about cap spreads and participation rates and bonuses. We're just looking straight at the income rider and shopping all income riders for the highest contractual guarantee. And then we'd also quote deferred income annuities, which is the other way to do income later. Both of them get to the contractual guaranteed number, taking a different contractual path, but both are contractual guarantees. So hope that answers the question. I have a 4.5% bond maturing in 6 months. If rates are higher when it matures, can I buy a 7-year Miga and pull out? Yes, you can. Can you pull out income every 6 months? Yes, you could pull it out every month. You could pull it out every quarter. You could pull it out whenever you want to pull it out. There's no, let me put it like this. If the Miga that you're looking at allows you to take out interest or up to 5 or 10%, then you're going to pay from day one, you're going to be able to take out the interest, never touch the principal for that duration. Now, a lot of them do, some don't. We have to go through that. My feed on theannuityman.com, where you say see live rates, you can pull up your state and your duration. You can see where it says interest, what amount of money you can take out year 1 or year 2 plus. It's very, very easy to understand. But to answer Hartman's question, I love that. If rates are higher, you can transfer it to a Miga and then pull out interest. Whether if you want it every 6 months, we can set it up that way. My team can do that, or monthly, however you want to do that. Now, bigger question. Let's talk about bonds versus annuities. And there's a lot of really smart people that I disagree with in the annuity space. I love them, but they'll try to compare bonds to annuities. You got to be real careful here. I used to manage bonds at a very high level for some of those firms on Wall Street. So I know bonds backwards and forwards, truly. No, I was not Stan the bond man, but I should have been. Anyway, bonds have underlying values that can fluctuate up and down, as you know, if you own bonds. That doesn't make bonds better or worse than MIGAs. MIGAs are CDs. So when you're going to compare things, compare MIGAs to CDs instead of bonds, because bonds the valuation can move in your favor up depending on when you buy it. So just wanted to throw that in there because I see a lot of cavalier statements by annuity people that they've never sold a bond in their life. And they're making comments like, well, it's like a bond, especially in the index annuity space. Index annuities are like bonds. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not even close. And anyone who says that is giving themselves away as the fact that they don't understand what a bond is. So, all right, next question. I'm going to need income between now and when I start taking my Social Security. I'm 68, want to hold off until I'm 70. What type of annuity would you recommend? This is a tough question, Michael. There's 2 ways to do this. And what he's talking about is what I call gap filling income. There's a gap. The gap is between now and 70, et cetera. Typically, the best way to do this, if you have enough money, is to buy a multi-year guarantee annuity and just peel off the interest during that time period. If that doesn't create enough money, we can do what's called a period certain single premium immediate annuity. Means that it's going to pay for a specific period of time. But right now, the shortest duration that we can do is 5 years, like a 60-month guaranteed payment. But we'll have to run those math numbers for you, and I would have to have a really deep conversation with you about the good, bad, positives, and negatives about a single premium immediate annuity with a period certain. And annuities are math. Just remember that. If the math works and you understand the math, then great. In a lot of cases with short duration, period certain immediate annuities, sometimes that math is a head scratcher, but it's certainly a conversation that we need to have so you can understand in full the choices so you can make a good decision. Next question. Stan, cover the procedure from the stage of MIGA to SPIA. Specifically, what are the SPIA's percentage payout rates right now in California? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. And what's your guess it would be in 3 years for a 60-year-old? When Roy asked payout, I want to be really clear here. I need everyone to lean in and stop multitasking. Payout rates with single premium immediate annuities are primarily based on your life expectancy when you start the payment. The older you are, the higher the payment. Give you an example. Social Security at 65 is a lower payment than Social Security started at 70. Why? Because you're older at age 70. So when you say, what are the SPIA payout rates? First of all, I just explained them. Interest rates play a secondary role in the pricing. But these SPIA quotes, immediate annuity quotes, are like a gallon of milk. They change every 7 to 10 days. So I'm not going to give you that number. We're going to quote it, or you're going to go to my site at theannuityman.com on the SPIA calculator and run it yourself and see it for yourself. But it changes. These are commodity products, okay? Also, too, companies are trying to fill up tranches. So they might be some companies might be really wanting your age at 60 and some might not this week, but next week it might be completely different. And the last question, that's unanswerable, and anyone who answers that's a fool. What's your guess what it would be in 3 years? My guess is the older you are, the higher the payment. I don't know what the payout rates, are going to be, which leads me to another thing that you got to be very careful with. There are some people out there on the internet that will run an immediate annuity quote and then show a percentage. And I got to call the guy, well, this site they're guaranteeing me 7.2% yield on the immediate annuity. That's not yield, player, okay? That is a numerical reflection of your life expectancy at the time you take the payment. I wish these people would stop putting those percentages up. I do not agree with that. I think it's misleading. I think people think they're getting a Jimmy Carter CD. They're not, because remember, with immediate annuity payouts, all lifetime income payouts, SPIAs, DIAs, QLACs, income riders, the payout amount is a combination of return of principal plus interest, period. So when you annuitize, SPIAs, DIAs, and QLACs, or with income riders drawdown effect, you're taking money from the account with interest. So if anybody says with those products that you're not going to keep the money. Now, which leads us back to the Miga thing. That's the reason right now we're saying, hey, if you can just peel off the interest and not touch the principal, why wouldn't you just do a Miga instead of annuitizing with the SPIA, not putting SPIAs down? But again, annuities are math, so we're going to run the math question and see what works best in your favor. I would rather you, if possible, not touch the principal and peel off the interest. Nod your head. I'm assuming you agree. But if you don't have enough money to do that and reach the income goal, then we will be forced to shop all SPIA carriers. But getting back to this really good question that a lot of people have in their mind, and I need to just factually smack this one down a little bit. Specifically, what are SPIA's percentage payout rates right now in California? This week they'll be X, next week they might be Y. Okay, but it's primarily based on your life expectancy. And remember, it's a commoditized world, so some companies are going to pop out and try to attract your money to fill up an age tranche. And then the second, what's your guess it would be in 3 years? I know this answer. It's going to be higher because you're going to be older, which means your life expectancy is going to be less, which means there's fewer projected payments, which means those payments will be higher. That's it. Next question. If you have an annuity and lose your job, does unemployment penalize you because you have an income from the annuity? I don't know that question. I don't know that answer because I don't do taxes. That's a CPA question, etc. All I can tell you is income from an annuity. If you're getting lifetime income from an annuity, it's taxed at ordinary income levels. Now, the taxation is also going to depend on whether it's coming from an IRA, a Roth IRA, or a non-IRA, and the type of annuity inside of it. But if that happens, then you need to go sit down with a CPA and ask that question. But all I can tell you is that income coming from an annuity, even if it's MIGA interest you're pulling off of, that is going to be taxed at ordinary income levels. Gains first. The old standard was 60-40 stock to bond mix. I remember that. I remember when I was a young skull full of mush at Dean Wooder, young, skinny, vibrant, and they did the napkin close. And the napkin close, we drew a circle on a napkin and you did 60% in stocks and 40% bonds. And as you get older, the bond portion goes up. That's just nuts. That's as nuts as it doesn't work anymore. And that's also as nuts as, well, you don't need an annuity. You can just pull out 4% from the portfolio. But no, that's crazy too. Wade Fowle, one of the smartest people on the planet, and one of my podcasts destroyed that factually and with his research that the 4% rule doesn't work. So then as you age, shift more to bonds, less to stocks. Yeah, I just covered that. Would annuities be acceptable bond substitute? Again, let's be careful. Let's be careful. Annuities and bonds, no. Annuities and MIGAs, CDs and MIGAs, yes, but annuities and bonds are completely different animal. And the last time I checked, there's more bonds than there are stocks out there. I would instead of would annuities be more acceptable than as a bond substitute, I think it goes back to the two questions. What do you want the money to contractually do? And when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? And if it's lifetime income, then we go get an immediate annuity to fill in that income floor gap. Or if it's no principal protection, let's just go get interest. Then it's a comparison of the best interest rates out there, whether it be CDs, treasuries, or MIGAs. And it leads me to another thing. Someone called the other day and said, what do you think, Stan? Should I be buying treasury? I'm like, yeah, why not? Listen, if you're trying to protect the principal, never lose a penny, never pay a fee, you're down to pretty much three types of products, only one that I sell. I sell MIGAs. Okay. I guess index annuities could fall into that, but right now it would be ludicrous to buy an index annuity at the time of this taping for accumulation instead of a MIGA. So MIGAs, CDs, and treasuries. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. So if you want to buy treasuries, go to treasurydirect.gov and do it yourself. But nothing wrong with treasuries. But to answer Wood's question, it really comes down to if the contractual guarantees of what you tell me you want to achieve fit your goal, then the specific annuity type might be a good replacement for that bond. Tony Mulligan, morning, Stan. Morning, Tony. When looking at an early exit on a MIGA, do you get the cash surrender value after the MVA or a minimum surrender value? I'm going to have Leah weigh in on this one as well. It depends what Tony's talking about. There are some multi-year guarantee annuities that have a market value adjustment, MVA, which means that it's an interest rate based calculation, and sometimes it works in your favor with surrender charges. Sometimes it doesn't. If you hold the MIGA to the duration, if you bought a 7-year MIGA and you held it to 7 years, MVAs have nothing to do with anything. That has to do when you are surrendering the policy, is when MVAs come in. So I hope that answers the question. Most of the people that, not most, I would say all of our clients, and we have clients in all 50 states, when they buy a MIGA that has market value adjustment internal attached to the surrender charge time period, we just say, are you planning on holding it to duration and just taking interest out? And if they say yes, then I say, well, then the MVA is not going to play into it. And all the market value adjustment is the annuity company hedging and protecting themselves from wild interest rate movements. That's it. Leah, do you have anything on that?
Your contract will state you will get the greater of your cash surrender value plus or minus MVA or the minimum guaranteed surrender value.
There you go.
So whichever's higher, that's what value you're going to get if you cash out early.
Pro customer. I mean, the annuity industry, as much as negative that stupid pundits talk about and stupid financial journalists, I mean, the annuity industry is pro consumer. Where they run into troubles is they can't regulate what agents say. They wish they could, but they can't. All right, next. I have 70% of my income guaranteed. Great. 2 pensions plus an annuity. For the remaining income, a withdrawal of 3% from investments. Okay. Should I bump it up with another annuity to make 100%? It depends, Robert. Remember, everyone, you can't put all your money in annuities. The annuity industry suggests very strongly that only 50% of your investable assets, non-home, non-car, non-guitar, none of that, just investable assets, Roth IRA, non-qualified accounts, bank accounts, savings accounts, etc., that you can put in annuities. So it really comes down to what that percentage is, and if we can hit that contractual guaranteed income floor using MIGAs or immediate annuities, whatever we need to do to hit that guaranteed income floor so that you don't have to worry about it. That's just something we need to talk about. I think the 3% withdrawal rate from investments is still too aggressive, especially in these markets. I don't have to tell you what happened this week, but I think when you're talking about your income floor, pensions, annuity guarantees, Social Security, which is the best inflation annuity on the planet, I think your income floor should be guaranteed. Whatever that monthly amount is, whatever that monthly nut is, it should be guaranteed. It shouldn't be floating, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Do what you want, but that's my opinion. which leads me to another thing. I'm getting a lot of inflation questions, and there's a lot of really bad sales pitches on inflation. I want you to listen closely. There's not an annuity type or product or carrier that can solve for inflation. Please listen to me and don't fall for the sales pitch. When you have increasing income with any annuity type, the annuity company doesn't give that away. They have the big buildings for a reason. They just simply lower the payments to make up for that, and a lot of times up to 30% lower. So if someone says to me, well, this adjusts for inflation, the index increases the income stream. Look at apples to apples. Look at income riders that don't have an increase and income riders that have an increase. Annuity companies don't give that away. Remember, again, if it sounds too good to be true, it is every single time. And when inflation's running 7%, 9%, whatever you want to call it, nobody has that answer. Now, there are, I bonds that do that, but you can't buy a ton of if I bonds allowed you to put in $500,000, I'd say, hey, I'm going on vacation, go buy I bonds. But they don't. They limit your purchase to a very small amount. Go to treasurydirect.gov, and you've got to figure out for the rest of your money. So off my soapbox. Next question. How do I get a Miga? Well, obviously, I'm Stan the Annuity Man. I'm America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states, represent pretty much every carrier. You can get them through us, theannuityman.com. I got a call. I was on a call the other day. Someone scheduled a call, and we went through the process, and they go, now, where do I buy this? I said, are you serious? I mean, am I getting punked? Is this like no, he goes, I'd like to buy it. Like, what company sells this? Like, we do. Yes, I am philanthropic at heart, but I am a capitalist. Yes, we do sell them. So if you want to get a multi-year guarantee annuity and get the best concierge first-class service on the application process, then you're going to use the Annuity Man, who's licensed in all 50 states, including the one you're sitting in. So how do I get a Miga? That's how you get one. Certainly, we need to speak with you beforehand just to make sure that you're not putting too much money in. You fully understand the product, and we're matching you up with the exact contractual guarantee that fits your specific situation. There are such things as 2-year guaranteed Migas. If you go to my site at theannuityman.com and pull up see fixed rates, you'll see the 2-year rates. But I would also, if you're at if 2 years is kind of the bogey, I would tell you also to look at treasuries and CDs. Okay, next question.
Just one comment there. If she goes to theannuityman.com, she can book a call with you or one of our other team members to discuss Migas.
Thank you very much. What is your current view of QLACs? I'm 70 years old. Let's talk about QLACs. Qualified longevity annuity contracts. They were put on the planet in 2014 and introduced and developed by the Treasury Department and the IRS. Yes, they did that. Why did they do that? They wanted people with qualified money, IRA type money, to use that IRA money for future income. At the time of this taping, please look at the date. The most that you can put into a QLAC is the lesser of 25% of your qualified assets, or $145,000 per IRA. You can set it up joint with a spouse, and you can start the income stream ASAP, or you can defer it as far out as age 85. You don't have to wait till then. A lot of people go, oh, I'm not going to buy one. I don't want to wait till 85. No, that's the limit. You don't have to wait. You can start at any time. But QLACs are deferred income annuities. They are a sister product of single premium immediate annuities. They are a pension product that you can use IRA assets for, and it creates a lifetime income stream. One of the unique benefits of the QLAC is the amount of money. Let's just say you qualified for the 145. That $145,000 is not used in your required minimum distribution calculation. Okay, so there is a potential for you to lessen your taxes on your RMDs. But you should not buy QLACs just to lessen taxes. You should buy QLACs for lifetime income as a hedge against needing more money in the future. Not using the I word, inflation, but that's the way to do it. Is to have future income starting at a future date. That doesn't solve for inflation. That's just a hedge against that. But also using your IRA in a lot of cases to create a lifetime income stream for your spouse. So that's what a qualified longevity annuity contract is. I've done a ton of videos on my YouTube channel on QLACs. I have a book on QLACs you can get. You can schedule a call with me. We can talk QLACs. But it really comes down to what you're trying to achieve. I love QLACs. I was the first one that wrote a book on QLACs in the world. So I consider myself the authority on that product. So next. Can you combine funds from separate accounts into a single annuity? The answer is yes. When you're talking about accounts, you're talking about qualified accounts, IRA accounts, traditional IRA, 401k, simple IRA, SEP IRA, keyword IRA. Those can be combined into one. But what you cannot do is take a non-IRA and combine it with an IRA, or take a Roth IRA and combine it with an IRA or a non-qualified account. The key is same to same. So we can take, if you have money spread out, you have a 401k at Fidelity and you have a simple IRA at wherever, XYZ, and you say, you know what, I want to combine it into one qualified account and buy XYZ annuity type, we can do that. And those transfers from the 401k and the simple IRA or traditional IRA, those are a non-taxable event. They do not trigger any taxes. They move from the accounts they're currently located at to an IRA established for you at the annuity carrier that we have chosen, and it's not going to trigger any taxes. You're only going to pay taxes when money starts coming out of the IRA. Next question. I have $100,000. I guess that's an indexed annuity. Is it possible to transfer the indexed annuity into a Miga? I'm assuming that's what FI means. Maybe. The answer is yes, if it makes mathematical sense to you. If you have an income rider attached to the index annuity, in most cases, you're not going to be able to transfer that because income rider valuations do not transfer to whatever annuity you're going to, only the accumulation value. And 99% of the time, that income rider value is the highest value when you look at your statement. Once again, annuities are math. So what we're going to do is and we have to do this during the application process, but we're going to do it way before then just to make sure that it's in your favor. We have to make sure that the annuity that you're coming from and the annuity that you're going to, is contractually better for you, not for the agent. The agent's going to benefit because they're transferring. That's the reason you see agents are going, yeah, let's transfer. You get upfront bonus and look. No, that's crazy. It should be a felony, but it's not. The point is, it has to be in your favor. So if you want us to look at an indexed annuity that you currently have, we will, to see if it makes sense for you to go to a Miga. But I will tell you this right now: if there are any surrender charges to that indexed annuity, it's not going to happen in most cases. So we're not going to do that. And as my director of operations said, most carriers won't accept that. So it has to, not only do we have to deem it's appropriate for you to go from one annuity to the other and the receiving annuity to be better for you contractually, the annuity company is going to do the same thing. Okay. Do any QLACs offer inflation protection? Yeah. Not CPI or PCE deflator. It's a specific number, Jack. What he's asking is, can you attach an increase to the income stream to a QLAC? You can do that to a SPIA or D as well. You can, and you choose the number. So okay, Stan, I want it to increase by 3% every year. Before everyone gets all happy and starts high-fiving themselves, remember what I said earlier in the podcast, in the live event, is I said, annuity companies just simply lower the payment to make up for that increase. And you have to look at what's the break-even point. Is it 6 years? Is it 9 years? Whatever it is. If you're looking at a COLA, cost of living adjustment increase, and you say, Stan, run that 3% QLAC number with income starting at age 70. Okay, I'm also going to run it without. And I'm going to show you the math, and I'm going to show you why annuity companies have the big buildings for a reason. Now, if you come back to me and say, I don't care, I want it to increase, it makes me feel good, makes me happy, and everyone in my family's lived to 115, then great. But I am going to brutally show you the math on how COLAs work. Remember, it sounds too good to be true. It is every single time. Every single person out there would love for their income to increase with inflation in a real world scenario. By the way, you already have that. That's called Social Security, because those aren't actuaries giving you that increase and lowering the payment. Those are politicians that are just raising the payment and printing the money. So yes, we can run that for you, but just spoiler alert, I'm going to be brutally factual on the math of that. Okay. Can both husband and wife get a QLAC at $145,000 each? The answer is yes, if each of you have an IRA and if each of you qualify under the rules of the lesser of 25% of your IRA assets or $145,000. So if the wife has $1 million IRA and the husband has $1 million IRA, whatever in those rules, then yes, you both can have one and you both can attach each other as a lifetime income participant on that QLAC.
This next question is in reference to IRA specifically.
Got it. Can I make a taxable withdrawal from my Miga when I'm of the proper age? The answer is yes. So it's in an IRA, and you can take money out of our IRA past 59 and a half without penalty if you're age 59 and a half or older without penalty. So yes, you can. And it's also dependent upon the Miga that you choose. If you've chosen, and we've shown you Migas that allow you to take out interest or take out 5% or take out 10% penalty free, whatever, and that's what you want to do, then using IRA assets, yes, you can take out that money. Just remember, when you take out money from an IRA with, regardless of what's inside of it, Miga, stocks, bonds, ETFs, that money's been growing non-tax, not being taxed. So money taken out is taxed at ordinary income levels. Is money on a Miga subject to RMDs? Let's talk about RMDs as just a category and a rule. Required minimum distributions at the time of this taping is when the IRS taps you on the shoulder and says, okay, you're age 72. Regardless of whether you want to take the money out of your IRA assets or not, you're going to have to take it out from here on in every single year. So if a Miga, or any annuity for that, if a Miga is inside of that IRA using IRA assets, then you have to factor in that amount with the total. Now, when you go take required minimum distributions from your IRA, you don't have to take money out in proportion through every investment. Give you an example. Let's just say you had mutual funds, ETFs, and Migas in your IRA. That's what you had. You don't have to take out RMDs in proportion with the mutual funds, the ETFs, and the Migas. You can choose to take out all of the RMD requirements of that percentage of that money from your mutual funds, or you say just from the ETFs. Think of it from the IRS standpoint. IRS does not care where you take the money from your IRAs to satisfy those RMDs. All they care is that you satisfy it. Okay, so you don't have to take money from the Miga to satisfy your RMD. You can, okay, but the IRS doesn't care. You just have to know that whatever percentage and dollar amount that's required that year, somewhere within those IRA assets, you have to pull that from. If we have an annuity that is less than 50% of our net worth, can we use the remainder of the 50% of our net worth for Migas? No. Let's go through this now. And this doesn't, your net worth when it comes to annuities does not include homes, real estate, cars, guitars, whatever. It's your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, 401k, savings account, money market account, checking account, brokerage account, okay? So that total, the number is 50%. So if you've already purchased using that total 50% in annuities, you're probably done, okay? Now, can I use a bullet and call a carrier and say, yeah, under this circumstance, I think we can push it to 60, but that's it. I can try, I can't guarantee that's going to go through. But the 50% rule applies to your investable assets. So if you've already purchased 50% of your investable assets with an annuity or annuities, plural, then you're done. I'm retired military, 61, have a pension, disability, good. 2,000 rental income, good. Plan to take Social Security, 67, good. Don't need income stream, but want to protect my principal. Migas are the best tool. Once again, Migas, Treasury, CDs. Yes, Migas are a great tool. It all comes down to, the contractual guaranteed percentage that you're looking for the duration you want to lock it in. So under that premise, yes, Migas do fit, and they are the best fit from an annuity type standpoint.
This is our last question.
Last question. Stand the Annuity Man. Stand the Annuity Man logos everywhere. All right, here we go. Take a breath. Well, take a sip. Fresca. Does anybody drink Fresca anymore? They put that in the office. Someone bought it. I'm like, I like Fresca. All right, James Carr. I'm 3 years out on retirement. First of all, congratulations on being lap 3 or 4 and you're at the finish line. Do you take phone calls yourself? I can. When you schedule a call at theannuityman.com, we're our big company. We're the biggest ones out here, multiple offices. So I do have an annuity solutions team. But yes, I'm currently taking calls. My consultants are allowing me 3 to 4 a day. So there's a round robin hope that you might get me. If you do, great. If not, you get someone smarter on my annuity solutions team. I don't want you to share your numbers here. And if you share your numbers with us, we don't care keep or sell any of that. Even in the application process, we don't keep any of that, share any of that, sell any of that. I mean, it's confidential. It's your information. So if you want to schedule a call, schedule a call. You probably, I can't promise you're going to get me, but there's a good chance of that. You can shoot me an email, stan@theannuityman.com, stan@theannuityman.com, and say, I only want to talk to you, crazy man. And I'll see what I can do to fit you in between my schedule. My schedule's pretty booked, but we're growing fast. And the people that you are going to talk to on the annuity solutions team, they don't have a really neat Southern accent like I do, but they're very smart, and they do what I tell them to do from the standpoint of how we approach annuities and how we sell annuities and how we want our clients to understand annuities, meaning you own them for what they will do, not what they might do. You own them only for the contractual guarantees. You never buy them for the hypothetical, theoretical, projected, hopeful agent, unicorn chasing the butterfly return scenarios. None of that back-tested nonsense where, well, if you'd owned it 10 years ago, that's crap. And I'm trying to clean this industry up so that doesn't happen. So contractual guarantees only with us. But yeah, just anyone who wants to get me, if you want to just, shoot me an email. I do respond to emails. I have no life. Heck, I'm 58 years old. I've been doing this a while. My wife of 35 years thinks I'm boring, and she's right. My 2 girls have left the home, and they're having a great life on their own. So I don't have, between music and this is kind of what I do. And I love what I do. I love being the brutal factual source for annuities out here. I do encourage you to, go to our site, use our site. No one's going to call or show up at your door and pester you. We treat you like a professional. And I had a call the other day, and the guy said, you didn't call me during all this. You just kept me informed via emails and YouTubes and things like that. And I do let you make your decision on your terms and your time frame. I respect who you are. I respect your money. I came from no money in rural North Carolina. So I'm a different type of advisor. So any amount of money that's important to you is important to us. And we're going to treat you like the important person that you are. And you've worked hard to put this money away. So with that, I'm going to close this out. I got some calls today. If you've noticed, our Saturday schedules opened up because of all of these Miga rates. So if you need me, email me, schedule a call, go to our site. And I really appreciate you joining me on the Annuity Man live event. We'll see you next month.